Hi everybody, my name is Twin Gaming TV, and today I'm going to be talking about who will be on the uh who will be on the MLB 22 cover. Yo, today we're going to be doing a little PowerPoint presentation type of deal for y'all. Seeing who's going to be on the cover for MLB 22, just having a discussion. So in the comment section, I want to see your number one hope choice, who you think will be on the cover for MLB The Show 22. To me personally, and we'll get into that here in just a little bit, there's like a clear-cut favorite. Like, this dude should be the cover athlete if they got who I feel like they should get as the cover athlete. So we're going to talk about that, get to that, my thoughts here in just a second. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're not already, on the road to 100,000 subscribers. And again, in the comment section, let me know, maybe they're different answers too, your hope, your number one hope for who's going to be on the cover of MLB The Show 22. Maybe who you think will be is different from that answer. Maybe you want your favorite player of all time, like Albert Pujols, to be on the cover, but you know that's not going to happen. So you're going to go with like a more logical or reasonable guess for who's going to be on that cover. Now, the reason I'm doing today's video in like a PowerPoint presentation type style is because I was talking about the release date from MLB The Show 22, and I had stuff that I wanted to talk about, but I didn't have like a set plan or guideline that I was going off of, and I felt like my thoughts and everything were just kind of jumbled together. And I figure if I do a little presentation, then hopefully I'll be a bit more organized. We can see Cougs here, a thumbnail from a video way back in, I guess, 2018, maybe 2017 if they announced that cover kind of early, which wouldn't be that surprising. I feel like they just keep announcing the cover and dropping trailers later and later and later. But let's just go ahead, get into the video, get into the meat of the video. Our first slide coming up, and I'm not doing like each line of text, like I'm not having popularity jersey, I'm not having each thing come in one by one. We got this beautiful picture behind me at the Bryce Harper MLB The Show. Oh my goodness, man, what was that, 19? I think that was MLB 19 cover photo shoot. Picture is from Shelfie's YouTube channel, one of his videos over on there. Shout out to Shelfie, I love you. And the title of this slide, how is a cover athlete chosen? That's the first thing I want to discuss, and I feel like that's kind of maybe important to realize when thinking about who's going to be on a cover, because there's a few things we don't know for sure what goes into it, exactly how they decide, right? But I feel like we can kind of guesstimate a little bit. Now, the first thing that I wrote down is popularity, with a little sub bullet point saying jersey sales. I feel like jersey sales are a good way to measure popular MLB players, right? I feel like if someone is consistently selling a lot of jerseys, that player must be pretty well liked. Now, with that being said, we're going to take a look at jersey sales here in just a second. You will notice, I'm pretty sure, at least the one time I really show a list, there's a lot of Dodgers on the list. So I feel like the Dodgers in general just have a lot of fans, and if they get somebody on their team, that can probably boost up the jersey sales a little bit compared to if maybe they were on a different team. But part of that's being in a bigger market. You got more eyes on you, so more people are going to see you play, which probably means more people will be a fan of you. But I feel like a big thing for a cover athlete is they have to be one of the most popular players in the game, right? I feel like they've probably got to be top 10, top 30, top 20 for most popular players. How do you determine that? I don't really know, but I feel like every time we've had a cover, it seems to be one of the more popular players. So that's the one thing that I wanted to make y'all aware of and keep in mind, is it's probably going to be a really popular player. We're probably not going to see somebody like Dylan Carlson on the cover, right? Like, I love him as a Cardinals fan. Cardinals fans love him. Same with Lars Nootbaar. But it's more of a niche audience for those type of players, right? It's not one of those global or nationwide superstars. Second thing we got here is no conflicting deals, Trout in parentheses. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if he still does, Mike Trout has had a conflicting deal where he's been on the cover of, God, I want to say, oh man, for some reason I want to say RBI Baseball. I'm almost positive it's not RBI Baseball, but Trout has had a conflicting deal. He's been on the cover of a different game, which, if I'm not mistaken, that has made him like ineligible. That's been the main reason he hasn't been on the cover, because I feel like Trout is widely considered one of the best, if not the best players in the MLB, and has been for a long time. Okay, number one. And then number two, because of that, he's one of the most popular players. Like, people love him, even though he's kind of soft-spoken a little bit, stays to himself and everything like that. He's still really popular, and I feel like he would be a no-brainer to have on the cover at some point, but I feel like the reason he hasn't is because of that conflicting deal. And then the final thing I have here for kind of like criteria, guidelines for picking a cover athlete is their likableness and their personality. I feel like someone like Tatis, who plays with a lot of energy, was a great cover choice because that's what makes him popular. People love watching him. He's exciting to watch. He's fun to watch. And having that likableness, having that personality, the charisma, the character, I feel like that's just a perfect person to be having on that cover. And a lot of people are going to see that and be like, oh my God, I love Tatis. That's awesome. However, I don't think that a lot of people are buying or not buying a game because of the cover athlete. I feel like most people probably are not going to not buy the game. I feel like if anything, it's going to cause at least a little bit more people to buy it, but probably not a big significant number. But we'll talk about that here in a little bit. I want to focus real quick on jersey sales. I'm going to turn off the cam for this slide. I guess maybe once we get to the final bullet point, but just real quick going through it. In 2017, the top selling jersey was Aaron Judge. The cover for MLB 18, Aaron Judge, okay? I know we were talking about jersey sales just a little bit ago. In 2018, the top selling jersey was Aaron Judge again. The cover for MLB 19, though, was Bryce Harper. And keep in mind, and this is something we're going to keep mentioning, he was 13th in jersey sales. Now, obviously, that's not top 10. But being 13th, like, there's a ton of players in the MLB. 13th is not bad by any means. And another thing to keep in mind for that year was it was his first year in free agency. So there was just so much more hype around him than usual. I feel like it was a perfect time to have him on the cover, right? He's a solid player. He's already had an MVP season, and it's his first year in free agency. I feel like there was just a lot of hype around him and where he's going to sign, stuff like that. Then in 2019, again, top selling jersey was Judge. They just got to put Aaron Judge on the cover every single year, I swear to God. But the cover for MLB 20 was then Javier Baez, who was 4th in jersey sales, okay? So you got the number 1 guy, and then you drop down to 13th, but it was his first year in free agency. And then you're back up to the 4th selling jersey. And then in 2020, the top selling jersey was Mookie Betts. However, for the cover of 21, we had Tatis. He was 4th in jersey sales. So he was top 5, right? He's still way up there. He's still super close to that number 1 spot. He's obviously a popular player. And I feel like 2020 was just really kind of a breakout year for him in a little bit of a way. And I feel like it put him on the map a little bit. And I feel like there was a lot more popularity, a lot more hype around his name. And I feel like that was a great choice for the cover. And then 2021 this year, I guess last year's 2022, isn't it? Top 10 selling jerseys in order were Mookie Betts again at number 1, then Tatis number 2, Ronald Acuna Jr. number 3, Baez 4th, Kershaw 5th, Belly 6th, Judge dropping down to 7th, Corey Seager 8th, Ohtani 9th, and then Arenado at 10th. So I feel like just looking at that top 10, that's kind of a good, you know, group of guys, okay? I feel like any of those dudes would be very deserving. I feel like a lot of other guys would be too, but I feel like you could kind of look at that list and say, okay, maybe Mookie Betts on the cover. Ronald Acuna Jr. will be great, especially if he can stay healthy this year, man. That'd be a lot of fun to just watch him. Kershaw, I don't really know. Belly would be a lot of fun. Judge has already had it. Seager, I don't see a lot of people really caring one way or the other about him. Ohtani would be perfect, and then Arenado, I would love to see it as a Cardinals fan. I feel like it could make for a sick cover, but I don't see a ton of people really being super happy with Arenado on the cover compared to some of these other guys. And now what I feel like is the main portion of the video, what I'm most excited to talk about is my pick for the cover. As y'all can see behind me, Shohei Ohtani. He is my pick for the MLB The Show 22 cover. I feel like this, and I'm pretty sure it's DraftKings. I don't know. I found this. It was all over Twitter. I couldn't find the original source, but I think that might be the DraftKings logo in the top left. So I feel like someone from DraftKings might have made this. I'm really not sure. If you guys know exactly who made this, please give credit for me in the comment section. But number 1, I feel like this cover just looks beautiful. Number 2, I feel like having the show like that is just such a perfect like play on his name, play on the name of the game. I feel like that would just be so sick for the cover. I don't know if they would actually do that because I feel like their logo's trademarked and stuff, but I feel like it looks really cool. Now for my reasons that I have written down, okay? He had a historic, never ever has been close to being done before season in 2021. He literally made history. I feel like he had the overall just most like talented, not necessarily the best, but most talented baseball season ever. I feel like no one has ever done what he's done at the plate while also doing what he's done on the mound. It's just crazy the season that he had. He was the unanimous, I don't know why I always like to make that joke, but he was the unanimous MVP for the 2021 season in the American League, the 19th time that has ever happened in the MLB. He's one of the most recognizable and talked about players in baseball. I'm always seeing him talked about on SportsCenter, just on different social medias, even in just non-baseball discussions. I'm seeing his name brought up a lot, which I feel like is good. I feel like he is a cover where people would see that and actually be like, huh, that's really cool. I've heard a lot about this guy. Maybe I'll pick this game up if it goes on sale, or maybe I'll decide to play this game. I've heard good things about it. They got this dude on the cover that I recognize. He could maybe sell a little bit more copies that way. I don't think it's really a significant number, though, like we talked about earlier. I feel like he himself, Shohei Ohtani, is at a potential all-time high in terms of hype, right? He just came off by far the best season of his career. And it's not that he had bad seasons or struggled a lot his first little bit in the MLB, but I think people just had super high expectations, and it took a little bit of time for him to really stay healthy, really settle in, kind of find his groove. So I feel like he's just at his all-time high in terms of hype. Unless he just absolutely goes crazy in 2022, I feel like this is a perfect time to capitalize on that hype and excitement surrounding Shohei Ohtani. And then something that's kind of shown on the cover. We see him pitching. We see him hitting. He's a two-way player. Obviously, that's what makes him special. I feel like having him as the cover athlete would allow us to start MLB The Show 22's Diamond Dynasty with more special cards than maybe before. I feel like if you give Shohei Ohtani the cover, you could make a pitching card for him, and you could also make an outfield card that are like the best of the best. I don't necessarily want to say 99 overall, but like compared to what is available at the beginning of the year, you could drop those two cards with it. Have one for people that want to use them in like right field or left field, and then have another one for people that want to use them at pitcher. Obviously, you want to be able to have them on this same team at the same time, but you would still be making a lot of people happy having a pitching option that also has hitting attributes, or having a position player option that obviously has hitting attributes that you can start in the outfield every single game. Since I don't see them giving him a pitcher card that can also play in the outfield, I feel like that would be a good solution, having at least 2, maybe even 3 cards from day one. Now I want to move on to some things to keep in mind when thinking about the cover for MLB The Show. First things first, no one knows for sure who it's going to be. I know I seem pretty confident about Shohei Ohtani. To me, he's not the only choice, but for me personally, he's like the clear number 1 choice, right? But nobody knows for sure. It's just a guess. I would like to see it. I feel like it'd be a good choice, but regardless, at the end of the day, it's not really a big deal to me. Secondly, they might choose a legend. You never know. Back for, I think, MLB 17, they had Ken Griffey Jr. on the cover, so who knows? Maybe they'll add. And now the thing is, I say maybe they'll add somebody like Babe Ruth to the cover, one of the most popular players ever to play baseball, one of the most recognizable. However, I don't really see them doing it unless the legend is being added to the game, right? For example, if they ever add Derek Jeter into the game as a legend, I feel like he has to be the cover athlete that year. I feel like they would be missing out on a huge opportunity and honestly a huge amount of sales if Derek Jeter's added to the game and he's not at least like a cover athlete for one of the special editions or possibly all the editions, right? I feel like if they added Derek Jeter to the game, he's got to be a cover athlete, man. I feel like they'd be messing up if they didn't do that. Next up, it says there's so many good options. Ohtani's not the only choice. We've already been over that. He's my number 1 choice, but I'm perfectly happy probably no matter who they decide. At the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal to me. Whoever it is, the game will be the same. Regardless of if it's Shohei Ohtani, Dylan Carlson, Tommy Edman, Nolan Arenado, Babe Ruth, Derek Jeter, the gameplay and the game itself is going to be the same. And then finally, most people don't even buy physical copies anymore, so they don't have that box for the game to collect, and they don't really care that much about who's on the cover. I feel like it's not that big of a deal compared to maybe in the past, but that's just my personal opinion. Maybe people still care a lot. It just doesn't seem to me like they do. And then finally, our conclusion: make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow on all those social medias. Thank you as always for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you next time. That video kind of ended up being a little bit longer, man. I feel like I talked even more having my thoughts organized. Peace out.